The first time I saw the fear in her eyes, I thought she was about to cry. 10 minutes later, I realized she was silently begging someone, anyone, to notice what was happening. I had only stopped at a small restaurant in Charleston, South Carolina, hoping to eat before another exhausting day of job hunting. I never imagined that one simple decision to help a complete stranger would change the course of my own life less than 24 hours later. If you believe that kindness, hope, forgiveness, compassion, and second chances still matter in this world, please take a moment to like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone you care about, and subscribe to the channel. Every act of support helps these stories reach people who may need a little hope today. My name is Caleb, and after the manufacturing company where I had worked for nearly 12 years closed its doors, life became painfully uncertain. I was 40 years old, divorced, renting a modest apartment, and trying to stay optimistic for the sake of my 12-year-old daughter, Grace, who stayed with me every other week. Every rejection email felt heavier than the last. I smiled for Grace, attended church every Sunday, and reminded myself that difficult seasons never last forever. But some mornings it took everything I had just to believe those words. That evening the restaurant was filled with quiet conversations until I noticed a woman sitting a few tables away. Her name, I would later learn, was Rachel. Across from her sat a sharply dressed man who seemed far more interested in controlling the evening than enjoying it. His body language made her visibly uncomfortable. She kept glancing toward the exit, forcing nervous smiles that never reached her eyes. It wasn't dramatic enough for anyone else to intervene, but something about the way she held her purse tightly against her side told me she felt trapped. When the man excused himself for a phone call, I quietly walked over and asked if she was all right. Relief instantly softened her expression. She admitted she had met him through an online dating app, and he had become increasingly aggressive after she politely told him she wasn't interested in seeing him again. She didn't want a confrontation. She simply wanted a safe way to leave. Without hesitation, I pretended to recognize her as an old family friend. I greeted her warmly, apologized for interrupting, and casually mentioned that my sister was waiting outside. She understood immediately. The man returned just as we were walking toward the entrance. I thanked him for sharing my cousin's company and continued walking beside her until we reached the parking lot. Once she was safely inside her own vehicle, she thanked me with tears in her eyes. She said people often looked away when something felt uncomfortable, but I hadn't. Before driving off, she simply wished me luck with whatever challenges I was facing. I smiled, never expecting our paths to cross again. The next morning I ironed my only Navy suit before driving to an interview with Harper & Pierce Consulting, one of the most respected companies in the city. I had prepared for days. Missing this opportunity wasn't an option. My savings were nearly gone, and Grace had recently told me she worried about me when she wasn't around. Hearing that from my daughter had broken my heart more than losing my job ever had. I sat nervously in the waiting room until the receptionist opened the conference room door. The moment I stepped inside, I froze. Sitting at the head of the table was Rachel. For several seconds, neither of us spoke. Then she smiled, not with surprise anymore, but with genuine gratitude. She explained that she was the company's director of human resources and would be leading the interview panel. She assured everyone that what had happened the previous evening would have no influence on the hiring decision, positive or negative. The interview would be completely fair. Oddly enough, that honesty calmed my nerves. We spent nearly 90 minutes discussing leadership, teamwork, integrity, and problem solving. Every question felt less like a test and more like a conversation about values. When the interview ended, Rachel thanked me once again, not for rescuing her, but for reminding her that good people still existed. A week passed without any news. I tried not to lose hope, but each day felt longer than the last. Then my phone rang while I was helping Grace with her science homework. Rachel's voice came through the speaker, warm and steady. She told me the hiring committee had unanimously selected me because of my experience, professionalism, and character shown during the interview. She added something I have never forgotten. Skills could be taught, she said, but integrity revealed itself when no one expected anything in return. That new job transformed more than my finances. It restored my confidence. Grace no longer worried about whether we would have to move. We celebrated with homemade pizza and laughter that filled our little apartment. Months later, our company launched a volunteer program helping job seekers prepare for interviews, and Rachel invited me to lead it. Together we met people carrying the same fears I once carried, reminding them that dignity is never measured by a paycheck. Before we reach the end of this story, I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever experienced an unexpected act of kindness that changed your life forever? Share your story in the comments below because your experience might encourage someone who desperately needs hope today. Years have passed, but I still think about that quiet evening in the restaurant. I believed I was simply helping someone get home safely. I never imagined that kindness would return in such an unexpected way. Life has a remarkable way of opening doors after we choose compassion instead of convenience. Sometimes the greatest opportunities don't begin with perfect timing or impressive qualifications. Sometimes they begin with noticing another person's silent struggle and deciding to care. If this story touched your heart, please consider liking the video, leaving a heartfelt comment, sharing it with family and friends, and subscribing for more inspiring stories. Thank you for spending these moments with us, and may you never underestimate how one small act of kindness can quietly change two lives forever.